That's the blooper reel at the beginning. Yawning, I'm just holding that in. I'm just like, damn. What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Ehi aka Esquire. We're back with another video, another group Q&A session. I'm here with my special guest, my boy Condeau. I'm gonna link his channel at the top of the description. That way you can go check out his sick vlogs, his challenges, and all his positivity videos.
Yes, no, but for real though, thank you very much for having me back, bro. I appreciate it as always.
Hear that clap?
I appreciate it.
Firm grip. So this group Q&A session is actually going to be split up into two parts. So the first part's going to be on my channel, and the second part's going to be over on my boy's channel. I'm going to leave that link also in the description, so make sure you go check out the part 2 of this video. So part 1 is, how does mental health affect you and the relationships around you? Well, we gotta start thinking about like what mental health is. Like a lot of people, I feel like they suffer a lot of mental health issues, whether they are diagnosed or they're not. And a lot of people may suffer like depression, a lot of people may suffer like anxiety, OCD, like all sorts of different things. Like I'm not gonna just generalize over mental health because there's different categories of it that I'm not gonna pretend like I'm some expert in. Dealing with people I know have it just gave me the experience of how it affects my relationships with them, and I'm sure you have the same experience there too.
Very much so. Personally, me, I've never been exposed to people who have mental health issues, or at least that I've known of, that have come to surface.
Yeah.
This year has opened up a lot to me because all I've known throughout my entire life, for the most part, is just good things and like happiness, people just being happy. This was kind of like a shock to me this year, figuring out, oh, this is a real thing. People actually deal with this stuff. And it's important that we're talking about this today.
I feel like a lot of parents, because they didn't really talk about it as much in their era, they don't want to see mental health as an actual issue. Like you can break a leg or break an arm or like tear a ligament. That's like a physical issue that you need to get treated. But people don't really think, especially the older generation, they don't feel like mental health is something that needs to be touched on. It's just something brought like, oh, you're just not mentally strong, you're not mentally tough to deal with certain burdens that we did back in our day. But you can see a lot of people, they're messed up in the head because they didn't seek proper help for it.
Relationships, just in general, friends, family, your loved ones,
significant
significant others, they tend to fail or they tend to go south because of the fact that whoever the party is who is dealing with a mental health issue can't seem to get past the barrier. And also, it's not just on that person themselves, maybe the person who's helping can't help. Right? It's up to, at the end of the day, ultimately, it's up to the person who is dealing with this mental health issue to be able to go out and seek the help that they need. They need to know what it is that they need. They need to be able to go out there and seek that.
Yeah.
Like you were saying though earlier, I feel like, mental health is very much a very, 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 very serious thing in our society today when it comes to like social media, all of this stuff, everything that's being implanted into the heads of the youth, right? And how they grow up with that implant, like the implanted knowledge or the implanted images and reoccurring stuff that's around in society today, because it creates this whole like concept of what you should be doing, how life should be, self-image, all of that. And it's like, it's toxic, right?
Exactly.
And it breaks down your mental without you even knowing it really, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people need to know to make that disconnect.
With mental health, a lot of people don't want to blame social media, but that's a big component on it. And that will also go into relationships. For example, let's say I'm always on Instagram, always on Snap, always just seeing other people's stories. I see people like going on vacation, people like buying like fancy cars, like living in big houses, like renting out condos in Toronto, just living like their best life. And I'm here thinking like I'm just sitting in my residence room or at home. I'm saying, okay, why can't I be like that? My self-worth, my self-image is so low compared to everybody else's. In actuality, I could be feeling a type of way, but the people who are showcasing it could also be feeling a type of way because they feel like their life is empty, not satisfied. So they gotta flaunt these things on social media. And it just creates a really vicious cycle of you want to be better than the next person, but then you don't realize the next person
is actually dealing with all this.
A lot worse. Here's an example I'm gonna talk about. I know back in my first year, I had a friend of mine, like super cool guy, super chill, right? I know around end of the second term, so we're about to wrap up first year, right? He was just going through all sorts of things. So I'm just like, yo, bro, like what's going on? And then he just cussing at me, yelling at me, be like, yo, like you don't know anything about me, like get away from me, this and that. I'm just like,
after the whole first year?
Yeah, like I knew like that wasn't him. I knew he was going through something. So I hit him, I texted him, I'm like, hey man, you might be going through something that I don't know. and you don't have to tell me, but like, just know I'm here for you.
Yeah.
So like, he didn't reply to me like a week later, right? But essentially, he hit me up. He's just like, hey man, like, I'm down to talk, this and that. So he was telling me, he was the type of person getting like 90s, like 95s in school, and then he's barely scratching like 60s in his courses, and he was diagnosed with anxiety over the break. So he was taking medication and all that. So he's just like, yeah, like sometimes if you're really anxious, I just lash out on people. I could have been like, that's a slight to me, like, hey, like, what the hell? I don't want to deal with you. Like, you're acting like this after I'm your boy, like, done. But then it was the other way. I took the approach of more like, hey, like, I know how he is normally, and I know this was something off. This is something that's not him. So actually reaching out to him, talking to him was something that kept our relationship. Like, I'm like, we're not really friends. We're not like, we're okay now. But obviously, like things happen, people like fade away. But like, we're on good terms, you know? But at that point, I could have made a decision where it's like, I let this affect my relationship, where it's like, I don't want to deal with this guy, this and that. But I'm also guilty because I felt I've done the first decision, like just cut off, because I was just, that's more so me like trying to help and me feeling like, hey, like I've done everything I could, I gotta like go. I know back in my third year, I had a friend, you know, going through a lot of things.
Insensitive.
No, I mean, I had a friend, she was going through a lot of things, so I'm just talking to her. And mind you, I've been like trying to like talk to her since second year, like, hey, like, why don't you go maybe seek professional help? And more, I'm a like spiritual person, like I like believe in God and everything. So I also tell like, maybe, you know, try praying, try meditating, trying to put your mind in a different place. Cause like, if you're always thinking about like the material, you're not really thinking about what else is out there, you get yourself worried. And like, obviously I'm not a psychiatrist. I was just giving her advice I thought would help. I kind of found that she was more self-destructing, and I didn't want to be there. I've seen in her other relationships, she would blame others for how she was feeling. And I didn't want to be put to blame, because I didn't want that on my conscience or anything. So I just told her, if you're gonna go down this path and not try to help yourself, I'm sorry, but our relationship as friends, we're done. Like it's over, you know?
And that's something that is very toxic to have around you with relationships, whatever it is, right? You can't have that toxic feeling, like emotional blackmail, you know? Emotional blackmail.
Yeah, that's the word.
Exactly. And that's where it can really affect your relationship with the person, because it's like, you may feel, oh, you know, this person's going through so much, and they're saying all this, I need to be there for them, but at the same time they end up treating you poorly. And it's like, you know, like, what, like, I'm here for you, I've been doing this for you, I've been trying to help you, and then you're gonna say all this, you're gonna do this, whatever, and then when I'm saying I want to leave, you're like, no, but like this, you know, like, and it just becomes a vicious cycle of toxicity. And that is where I feel the person who is the helper or the guide for the person who's not, and that's where I feel they should be able to make that stand and be like, you know what, I have to cut it, I have to cut this out. And I understand that our relationship is no longer a good one and it's toxic, or you need to fix yourself, you need to, or find someone who can actually help you.
Exactly.
And you know, you need to split this toxic relationship.
I feel like going off of that point, I feel that a lot of people may be suffering something they did not know of, but they're trying to help people. Because the one thing I always tell people, you need to get yourself right before you try and help other people. Because if you yourself are not in a good mental state, not in a good mindset, the advice you'll be giving people will be skewed. For example, like, let's say I'm just in a state of depression, like I've been like this for maybe a year or so, and someone who's feeling the same way or similarly comes to me, I can't give them, I can give them advice of how to like cope with it, but I can't give them advice on how to handle it, because I myself, I'm still going through the phase. Like, I can relate with them, and I can sympathize and empathize with them. I can't be like a guiding light to where it's like, hey, this is what you should do.
I was just gonna say that there's not like A plus B equals C, like a formula, you know what I mean? There's never gonna be a formula for getting out of a depressive state, a state of anxiety, whatever, right? It's really just, you know, if someone who is in a good state themselves can give you like guidance, some advice, whatever, you take that how you will, you know, and make sure that you apply it, you know, because some people who are in depressive states or in states of anxiety, whatever it might be, will listen, but then they'll keep acting with their same ways, you know, and they won't grow from anything.
Let's say I know for me, like I'm gonna open up about this. Like I know a couple years ago, I suffered like a panic attack. Yeah, so I was in like the GO train. Like the GO train is just like the train we commute to go downtown for work. So I was like doing my second co-op, my second internship for American viewers. I can't remember. I was in an argument with somebody. We was going back and forth on the train. Texting. And next thing you know, I get up and it was the worst feeling. Like your heart was beating out of your chest. Like literally everything was just very foggy and very like blurred.
Really?
It's like it's one of those where it's like from the outside looking, I'm probably ecstatic, like I'm off something, bro. Yeah. All your senses just on a haywire. So it's one of those you just gotta like sit in a corner and just be like, because I'm getting off the train, I'm walking down the stairs, I'm literally like, yo, am I gonna just fall face first? Because like I went to my doctor, I talked to my doctor and she told me, oh, you suffered a panic attack. And then she was saying, what were you doing in the morning? I was like, I was just getting in a fight with my friends, and also like work was kind of stressing me out at that time. But I think all those things kind of piled it up. But like I was more so kind of blaming my friend for what happened. Where it's like, oh, if she wasn't doing this and this, I wouldn't have suffered this. A good couple months, I did not talk to her at all. I can't blame people. And that's like that's how it affected my relationship with her. Where it's like, in my head, I feel like she just did me wrong all these ways, and I'm like, hey, I don't want to be talking to her because I don't want to ever suffer that again. But like, I have to like stop and look at myself. I'm like, hey, she didn't know. I never told her. So she's here thinking doesn't know anything. I'm in my own head saying like, this is her fault. But I have to think like, did she intend for me to have that type of thing? She didn't intend for me to have like a panic attack. That's more so like, it's how my brain and my body responded to it. I just felt that stepping back and seeing how if I allowed this negative emotion, I projected onto my friend. Like I could not be talked to her ever again, just because of my own, like negative thoughts in my own head. I was like, okay, let me sit back, think about, okay, what happened, how it happened, why it happened, and I can't be blaming people for my own problems and issues. So that's another thing I feel like a lot of people kind of like project things onto other people, and then it puts strain because some people could just like literally just cut you off, and it's like you have no idea why. You're thinking, what did I do? But it's literally just them just like going through a phase of whatever mental health related issue they might be going through. Which is like, it's sad, like it hurts. It hurts you. It's like, hey, like what did I do to wrong you? And it hurts. And it's like, if they're able to come back, like those feelings are so apparent in me. Like, I don't want to be talking to them. Like they just lashed out on me. Like I don't want to talk to that. So I feel like for people outside looking in, not take everything as if they're the ones who do it. Because us, especially this generation, like we believe everything that happens around us happens because of us. But that's not really the case. So
why did you say it the first time? Watch me strong.
I'm putting that in there. Watching me struggle.
Watching him struggle.
Say it again. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to this video. It's been a pleasure as always, Condeau.
Always a pleasure.
Make sure you guys subscribe and hit the bell notification. That's way you never miss a video I upload. Hit that like button because you know YouTube loves the algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a blessed day. Easy. Easy.